What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 23 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Blood Dragons Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, the Abyssal Revenant's new and improved army got to play with that glorious Fourth Sister battleship hovering overhead and obliterating enemies with its guns and with its crew, and also the new and improved form of the Abyssal Revenant himself, who is just such a fantastic looking model. We'll probably have another big battle at the Galleon's Graveyard and possibly Lothern for him as we look towards the end of the campaign. Speaking of the end of the campaign, unfortunately it does look like the engagement, interest, views, etc. have dropped off. It looks like they dropped off specifically after the couple of episodes ago, the final battle episode, which does make sense that it was the end of the Worthy Foe quests. That does, unfortunately, though, mean that we will need to accelerate towards the end here. I did say that I had some things in mind, like Anarch conquering Nagashazar, Walach conquering the Black Pyramid of Nagash, and then the Abyssal Revenant, either the Galleon's Graveyard and or Lothern as well, and I still very much intend to do that. We will, however... You know what, we're going to keep this on this channel, though. I may be willing to banish pretty much anybody to the Shadow channel, but not Abarash, not my favorite character of my favorite sub-faction of my favorite faction in the game. I just can't do it, guys. I just can't do it. So anyway, we got things to do, and this time we've got to try to head towards the next of the quest battles, which I believe is in 3 turns, so we got to move. Now, the only one that has not moved this turn, I believe, is Walach, so we're gonna send him. I guess he can raise some territories belonging to Kairos. He's probably gonna stop us in our tracks, which will be annoying, but what can you do? It's the name of dealing with Kairos, I guess. And hey, who knows, maybe we'll actually encounter his main stack on the way to the Black Pyramid. And if we do, Walach can laugh his way to a duel with Big Bird. Now, obviously, this is auto-resolvable. Yes, Walach, everything is hilarious. Raise that, and stop moving. Alright, sort of striking Black Cat, and that's it. We can probably keep moving in March stance just to try to maintain as much movement as possible. Took a little bit of damage, but not so much that we need to be concerned. Also, I was going to upgrade you, and ooh... not as good a stag as I was hoping. In fact, maybe if these guys take out... Wait. Can we tell you to declare war on the oracles? No. I was hoping we could get him to clear the Granite Massive Force so we could just move on past it, but we'll have to move on past it in another manner. Anyway, we're gonna make you into a Blood Dragon Neophyte, and we're gonna make you into a Blood Dragon Veteran so that we have 4 and 4. And there we go. The entire army, Wallach's entire army, is now all Blood Dragoned up. We still want to upgrade these guys a little bit. We just need to get enough martial valor to be able to get everything, because the expense, the crazy expense. But anyway, should be able to do that over the next few turns. Walach has moved, so let's move on ourselves by ending the turn. Alright, I think we are besieging a territory belonging to Balthazar Gelt, so we'll see if he is willing to sally out against us or not. Ikat Claw, you know what's coming. Skavenblight will fall, my friend. And we are on the way. Though your nukes stand against us, hopefully you keep on nuking those ghosts. Alrighty, it looks like Balthazar Gelt did not want to sally out. Well, it's unfortunate for him. We got a great and worthy act for somebody. Spirit of the Jungle destroyed. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Huh. That's a shame. I kind of wanted to send Abarash to hunt Nakai down, mostly for the defeat trait for the melee defense, which we could still use, but oh well, not a big deal. Alien Weapons of the Deep complete, and mission issued we don't really particularly care about. Guess we want to move towards the Templar's Feast. I would like to max out all of these guys, however, and by these guys I mean all the Ordo stuff, I think we want to move towards Mighty Cities first, mostly to buff up the Thralls and this stuff. Or the alternative would be to get the 10% ward save for both of the other Ordos first. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's do that. Let's get the 10%. and then we'll move on. Anyway, speaking of moving on, Walach, I guess you were first, and this army, what did you do? They didn't sack Granite Massif, they moved past it. Oh, because they're not at war, alright. Well, they're about to be at war because Karagarud is in our way. I guess we could have just walked past all this, but we didn't. At least Wallach's amused about it. Alright, auto-resolve that, and at least without the presence of... Stop moving. Without the presence of that one Bloodkin Thrall unit, we don't have to worry about it getting too badly damaged. Keep on moving. Teensy bit of damage, but that's fine. We'll move past Karagarud and on the way to that Black Pyramid. Might stop on by at Khemri, if needed. Looks like nobody is here. Good. I'm gonna move you away to Bilbali. Yeah, go to Bilbali. I just want to make sure that the plague does not spread to the Lord, because obviously that would be bad, and the growth here is kind of unfortunate. What about this? Morgur looks to be wanting to retake this, and now he actually has a settlement. Let's see. We could let him take this, or we could ignore it. We could join war against the Warherd of the Shadowgave and fight his army, though I have a feeling he'd just run from us if we tried. And again, this army is full of... Well, I guess we don't know what his army is full of. Wait, let's move right beside him. Wait. Here's what we'll find out. Will Orion be willing to give us military access? He won't. So we can just straight up declare war and it won't matter. Alright, here's what we'll do. We'll go right beside you. I want to see what's in his army, because if it's a bunch of garbage, yes, it's a bunch of garbage. We're not even going to bother with that. Let's move to Magritta and Tabaro and whatnot instead. And just keep going on March Stance. You've got to date with Skavenblight after all. I don't think there's Skaven in Magritta, but we should find out just in case. Alright, that's looking good for you, Abarash. You, I believe, we're headed to Carrick Doom. I see another little faction here, though we can by and large ignore them. Abyssal Zubissendorf. I guess we're all Abyssal now. We go to Carrick Doom, and I want to see what tier the place is. It's tier 3. Oh wow, I was expecting tier 5 or something. Okay, first of all, you. Is the Plains of Zanbaijin actually owned by the Ursun Revivalists? Yes, indeed it is. Which means Archaon is likely dead, which means there's no real reason to be up here. I mean, yeah, there's jerks to fight here, but Imric, Scarbrand... there are stronger lords down there, so I think we're gonna move down the canal. Alright, raise this, Abarash. And... move on away. I was hoping to set up another Bloodkeep here, but there isn't much purpose then. Keep on moving down this way. This guy's probably gonna prevent you from healing, but whatever. Okay, can you move past him? Thank you. How many turns would it take to get to the canal? Yeah, it would still probably be faster than manually walking down here, right? Although it will take an extra 2 turns to go through the canal, so that's the issue. I'm gonna give these guys one more chance to sally out. Maybe they'll have another army on the way. Who knows? It's not like we're in a hurry anywhere with Edmund right now. Anarch. Do we have a decent fight out of Skarsnik? Honestly, by the looks of it, we don't. You cannot reach Berakvar. You could go for the Forest of Gloom, but frankly, you'll pick up we're likely to pick up a Skaven Plague if you do. And on top of that, the garrison here is made up of Gobos and other garbage units. And ow, you have a Skaven Plague as well. You know what? Stay here for a turn, Anarch, or in fact, just raid here. They're not going to attack you anyway. I'd like him to stay here and attack this once, hopefully that Skaven Plague is gone. It still does concern me. Alright, Heinrich. And we do need to go through the turns anyway to get that quest up and running, so we gotta do it this way anyway. Alrighty, so we need you to move down here. Alright, fine, go to Zernagrund. We'll move Rabe into your army. Increase mobility, it doesn't matter. Do something. And you're a Bloodkin aspirant that's supposed to just act as a scout, so just keep on moving down there. You can keep recruiting, good sir, for quite a while. And then you are supposed to join this army as well, or an army. They're gonna spread out a little bit, but in a little bit as well. What do we have in terms of enemies here? Got some black orcs, we got some stuff. We could try Rabe out. Well, you know, let's see what this says in terms of auto-resolve. Frankly, this is weaker than the armies we fought before. And nobody will die. You know, I think this one's not worth our time. We'll wait for another, hopefully bigger orky stack, maybe with Grimgor himself, to come around. Let's do all the captives and let's heal up. Slash raid up. In this territory. And we still have the Jade Daimyo on the way, and we still have recruitment to do here after all. Jade Daimyo, speaking of, gotta cross those mountains. I'll probably move to meet him, though, once we got a few more units in this army. We're working on it. And we do have another hero, another Ordo Profundum hero on the way as well, so... And we do want him to actually join that army. Zachariah, Saratep, and the Abyssal Revenant, you guys. Alright, so I would like you to sail out and go to the Fuming Serpent. I imagine you won't be able to land. Okay, well, you probably will, but yeah. You too. Come to raiding. In our own territory, doesn't really matter. As long as you keep making metal for us. Alright, that's looking good. We'll take out the Skaven territories here and make sure they don't rebuild and, well, re-attack us. All the raiding lords can keep on raiding as they do. Isilal the Forgotten. Ooh, got a bunch of malevolent shriek in there. I guess the question is, are they worth fighting, these malevolent shrieking? Well, I got some defenses in Mordheim. It is a low... close victory and low casualties, I mean, at low casualties is probably not worth it. A Griffinwood has barely any defenses as well. I guess we're gonna move you up to Kislev then, rather than having Abarash come around and do it. Yeah, fine. Oh wow, why did this one unit of Bloodkin Thralls get so badly screwed over compared to the others? Interesting. Alright, and keep advancing those turns, and ooh. Problem, you can't go into encamp stance. I guess you're gonna have to sit in channeling stance. I mean, you can still heal up, but yeah, sure. Move towards Griffinwood and keep on moving up. Oh, I would have liked to have fought Be'lakor, though. I suppose if we move down this way, might be able to hit the Castle Templehof thing in Lamia. You know what, for the finale episode, what I might do is do a little bit of a time skip and have Abarash fight a few of the choice lords. That might be a good thing to do as well, after everybody else has gotten their final battles, I mean. Agorok, you're kind of sitting around and it's making me nervous. What's the likelihood that he attacks us at Oishal? Likelihood exists, certainly. Would he win the battle? What do we have here again? You know, we got some pretty good units. I don't think so. He could try, but I don't think he'd win.
Bring darkness.
Alright, you sit around at Lamia. We could probably try to peace out with Libaros as well, but otherwise we're looking good this turn, which means skip, and in the turn. Keep on moving, gotta get those quests. Alright, gonna be a little bit of admin to start the episode out, but it'll be worth it to fight a quest and unlock a new special unit. Oh, you actually want a defensive alliance now. I almost said no. Yes, please. Very nice. We'll actually finish the campaign with an alliance. Not a necessary alliance, mind you, but just for fun. And it looks like Balthi's not gonna attack us. This army's still kind of sticking around, but that's fine. Alright, so... let me just see what's going on here. You... outpost at... I guess Hanyuport. Is Shangwu not an option? Wow, these guys don't have a lot of units. They don't even have access to artillery? You gotta be kidding me. That's disappointing. I was hoping that they would actually have access to fire rain rockets. I mean, they do have the war drums at least, but I was expecting more, I gotta say. Was definitely expecting more. Anyway, Village of the Tigerman has probably the best set of possible units. Bridge of Heaven's okay, but Hanyuport might actually be the safest, so I think we'll still build it at Hanyuport and just upgrade it. Probably the way to do it. As the Skaven... maybe we should help them out with the Skaven. And, well, you know what? The Jade Daimyo's coming. And his army is coming, eventually, so we can use them for that purpose. Anyway, Maldred Hupt Anderson, I would like you to keep on recruiting those Bloodkin Thralls. You can take the other 2 Bloodkin Thralls while you're at it. Or Thrall Adept Knights, and then keep on raiding for a little while. Roderick Bachman, you can join the army. And another hero in there, and this hero will join that army as well, until it gets ready to move. Hey.
The void beckons.
Alright, then let's continue doing things in, well, order to some degree. You're moving this way, sir. Black Pyramid's a ways off. I guess I should probably move you in raiding stance to get the additional precious metal. Not too late now, but maybe in the future, if I don't forget next time around. Morgur has raised Montanus rather than reclaiming it. I guess he can stay at Nuja, whatever it is. Magritta, not full of Skaven. Which means we're going to Skavenblight. Alright, on the way. Let's heal up so that when we hit the place, which is a tier 5, and we can hit it nice and hard. Alright, you, sir, are... Alright, Herman Skellen, we're going to delete you, but we are still going to reward you by having you lead that army. Meaning, we will disband you and replace you with somebody else and then pop you into the other army next turn or in a couple turns. I will remember you and your service, sir. Eternal Discipline, Tempered Fury, do we have any non-garbage ones? Not by the looks of it. Alright, we can raise another one of these guys here, though this is a Blood Dragon keep right now, or... maybe we'll raise a Blood Dragon here then. Alright, fine. It's gonna be you, sir. Probably won't be as effective against the Skaven, but we will need to level you up just in case they come on in. 1 point in Gaze of Nagash, 2 points in Gaze of Nagash, Heart Piercing, yes to the Wanderers, Warriors of the Wandering Path. And basically all the upgrades. And you know what, max out Soul Stealer. If you're going to be fighting piles of rats, you're probably going to need it. Yes to healing, we definitely want Immortal Horror as well. You don't have any troops and probably will never have troops, so you don't need that. Get your Quick Blood and Bloodlust and I guess another couple points in Blade Shield. I mean, Perfect Vigor is great. So you could gain it by a trait, though at the same time you may never get the trait that gives it to you, so not 100% on that one. But anyway, Abaresh, you have a canal to get to. Looks like 2 turns, alright. Head on over. And if you want to generate another hero, this is the time, as you won't have another time. Do we want you to? What do we have in terms of bloodlines? Or bloodline champions here? There's an Immortal Disdain. Yeah, alright, fine. As soon as I see anybody with Immortal Disdain, that's an immediate hire. And Stoic Violence, Eternal Discipline, and Stoic Violence. Alright, looks like you are going to join the Jade Daimyo as well. I'm sure he'll enjoy having decent amounts of snake support. Edmund von Sinclair. You know what? I mean, it's low casualties. I'm going to continue moving through this, and then we're going to fight that eventually, if we can't find a better battle. Right now, it's just not a priority. Skarsnik runs from Bereg Dawa's bag, and hello, Scarbrand the Exiled. I was going to send Abaresh to deal with you, but honestly, you will be back up and running by the time he's there, and would you look at that, we got Chaos Knights of Khorne. Oh, this looks like a battle. This looks like a battle indeed. Let's see, let's level ourselves up and then let's get into it. What do we have here? So, we have melee defense. I guess we just want straight up melee attack. Grave Ward, we certainly don't need against Khorne. You're not going to be able to handle Scarbrand on his own. Or on your own, rather. Though you do have your heroes to help you out. Speaking of your heroes, we'll need to level them up, max out training, max out Melkoths, even though it's rare to use it. We'll probably want Blade Ward, and then on to Scarred Vet. And I guess similar sort of things with you. Deadly Blade, and Scarred Vet. Alright, that looks good to me. We finally found ourselves a fight, folks, so let's get to it. Declare war on Scarbrand. I didn't even check if he was allied with anybody, but he is not. And he's surprisingly only at war with the Ogres. Kind of explains why he's up here. Well, the Ogres are going to be happy with us for a few turns before they're very, very unhappy with us immediately after. No, they're actually going to move into reinforce / support. That's cute. That's cute. Alright, man. I still want to get Scarbrand versus Avarash one-on-one proper, but for now, we got other things to do. Away we go. Alrighty, here we go, a proper foe for Anarch, or at least Anarch and his minion champions. The three of them together will head directly for Scarbrand, and all looking pretty good with that sort of trail left by their weapons. Very nice against Coronate Skies, especially, though we'll see about turning those skies nice and vampiric instead. And now, because Anarch's army is almost all Ordo Templaris now, almost all of our army has Vanguard deployment. We do leave our knights in the background, however, as we'll want to make good use of our Demigryph knights to fight the enemy Knights of Khorne in particular. Also, really loving those lances there, very, very much. These guys are looking fantastic as well. Hey, all the Ordo Templaris stuff looks really good. The monstrous infantry and the monstrous cavalry and the cavalry in particular. Infantry, I like the Blood Dragon ones. Although it's not like the Knights of the Blood Dragon ones. Everything looks fantastic is what I'm getting at. Anyway, Scarby's gonna have a bad day here, dropping down already to half of his HP. All of those debuffs stacked on him, bringing his melee attack to 2 and his melee defense to 15. Oh, 2 melee attacks. This just feels mean now. Oh, and Scarby has such a high melee attack in the first place. It should be hovering around 100, and we brought it down to 2. And also that damage resistance reduction from the anti-magic pulse probably ain't a great thing for him either. Anyway, these 3 are going to continue mobbing him, and he will go down rather quickly. Alright, that was probably the angriest the Scarby has ever been, because being able to accomplish nothing whatsoever in that manner due to the debuff stacking was absolutely horrific for him. Anyway, here we go. We've got our knights moving around in the background, waiting to get into a nice contest with the Knights of Khorne. Other Knights of Khorne are engaged with our Ordo Templaris infantry. But we'll have a little bit of night-on-night action, both on this flank and the other flank as well. Head right on into the knights, and it's 2 versus 1 here, so I imagine these knights are going to have a bad day, and they get hit in the flanks as well. Watch them drop so quickly. Over on this side, same thing is happening. We've got the Crusaders in particular, Demigryph or skeletal Demigryphs facing up directly against the Knights of Khorne, and this is most definitely a battle that goes in our favor, as we're anti-large and the enemy is anti-infantry. And at least this one is a one-on-one. The Khorne Knights make the skeletal griffins look so tiny by comparison, but tiny or not, they hit damn hard. And with that, very quickly, this army will shatter. Much more quickly than I was expecting, mind you, but at the same time, now that this army has nearly full Vanguard deployment, just like Walach's army, the battles are bound to speed up a little bit as compared to before, when we were relying on half our army being thralls and stuff. We don't have to chase because the enemy was in march stance, and I'm sure the march stance also hurt the enemy's chances of facing off well against us here. Alright, very nice indeed. Poor Scarbrand, he got mobbed and debuffed to heck, and he just couldn't do anything there. Feel bad for the guy. I did very much love seeing our units of the Knights of the Thirst and the Crusaders, the skeletal and demigryph knights with their halberds, which were absolutely able to rip those Cornate knights apart. Now granted, Cornate knights are the much more fragile version of the Chaos Knights, much more fragile than all the other versions, though they are the high damage dealers, but well, not high damage dealing enough, especially sword and board versus halberd anti-large specialists. This is what our units, or these units, were made for, and they certainly showed it here. Very nice, very nice. Sorry, Scarby, we are going to, I guess, duel the captives. At least the Cornates should appreciate that. And it does appear that we... Okay, we will not suffer attrition here. Okay, good. And defeated Scarbrand gives us a weapon strength and charge bonus for the entire army, which is swell. It's just swell. Absolutely swell. We go into encamp stance. I guess we can hit Kirik Angazar or possibly Barak Var. Whoa, oh, no, stop. Ah, damn. I didn't realize Matorka had the Skaven Plague. You know what? Maybe we'll ignore Kirik Angazar and go through Barak Var. We still have to travel to Nagashazar after all. And if that's going to be his final battle, I don't want to get distracted just and going elsewhere. Heinrich, you're good where you are. Let's see who else still needs to move. Reinhardt. Yes, I was going to send you to Griffin Wood, though you are now damaged. You could wait for a turn if you like. Though by that point they might raise somebody. Honestly, it's so weak that it should probably just be raised, is it? And it's tier 4. I'm betting Kislev is tier 5 though. I'll resolve it, raise it, and get that medal. 9 medal, nice. And you can go, well, I guess you can stay in the stance and keep going the way that you've been going, sorry, Draika. And we've sighted Vitevo. Kislev, well, on the approach to Kislev proper. Alright, keep on moving. The Abyssal Revenant, you're about to land at the rat location, or at this particular rat location. Let's see what we've got here. Stay in the waters, right? Ooh, there's basically no defenders there, so we can just freely raise it, and we'll see and hope that the Star Tower is tier 5 instead. Gonna take a little bit of damage, but don't we always raise the place? And you're not gonna move, which works for us. Seasoned Campaigner, there's that perfect Vigor defeat trait. Or not defeat trait, just general trait, but yeah. Alright, and on to the Star Tower. And then on to the Maelstrom for your final fight. Or final fights, depending on how long the others travel, as we will still want to head over on to Ulthuan. Let's get bloody weaponry for you, because we'll want to upgrade you and your poor destroyed horde. And I guess we can get the training grounds here. It's only 5% casualty replenishment rate, but I am still missing it, so despite the cost, as in the growth cost, I think it's still worth our time. Alright, anybody else? The raiders can keep on raiding. The Jade Daimyo needs to continue traveling. Gonna be a bit of a while. Conradine, you were looking for Archaon, but if he's dead, then there's no other purpose to doing so. I guess look around. Just want to double check whether Boris Ursus might be here at Stormvrakman. If Boris Ursus is right there, then but it doesn't look like it. I would have been willing to make a bit of a detour to defeat him, even though his defeat trait is terrible. And I don't mean his Aaron Duelist defeat trait, I mean his regular defeat trait. Red Dead, was it? The plus leadership against Chaos Forces and stuff? I remember remarking on it being a poor defeat trait, or at least not one I'd personally bother with in the past. Anyway, let's see what we've got in terms of building and territory upgrades. Nothing here, nothing there, nothing everywhere. We still want to upgrade all of our defensive structures as well, just so we don't have to worry about these places once we're away. Crusading. Next turn, the Library of Lamia will be complete and we'll be able to do the quest though. And we got 4 turns until you, Reynold, you cannot raid. At least you can't raid here. We could move you away somewhere. No, just stay here. It's only a few more turns until we're ready to go to tier 4, or tier 3, and then upgrade this thing. We're nearly there anyway. Anyway, that all looks good to me. Let's just do a quick diplo. I want to see how the northern provinces feel about us. Defensive alliance. Go for it. And military alliance would cost us how much? 11k? Ah, sure, you can have 11k, not a big deal. We've got the money. And how much do you want for this? 16k. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit expensive, sir, but whatever. I just want access to all their stuff. Ooh, Wargrove of Woe want to peace out, do they? Maybe we could have left Draika alone, but I guess pretty much everybody that we fought with at this current time wants to peace out with us, and we're not gonna bother. If they come at us with an actual proper stack, we'll actually want to fight it. Oh! Nangao has been destroyed by the war host of Jar. Are you guys dead? Oh my, they're basically dead. They're surrounded by Snitch Village and Zatan. Huh. Alright, well, we're gonna build an outpost here. Oh! The northern provinces, or the western provinces, have their outpost at Pomay. Oh no, we can only build a terracotta graveyard which will fall. Well, that's useless to us, but at the same time, they can't build any units anyway. Damn, Cathay. Maybe I should have kept an army here after all, just to help you out. And I wanted their units. The only reason we bothered with those alliances is to get their units. But anyway, skip outpost available. Yeah, we're gonna skip that one, at least for now in turn. And let's get that quest up and running. Assuming, of course, that nobody attacks us. But even if they do, we still gotta get the quest up and running, so that doesn't really change things. Karth wants peace, we don't care. You gotta give us a little bit more tribute than that, I think. Though at this point, monetary tribute doesn't really matter either. Right, ambush foiled for Anarch. Does this mean he didn't heal? No, he healed, he's still fine. War succeeds, and there we go. Knights of Blood and Sand. Trained by Aberach himself, for some reason non-capitalized, and in service to Queen Neferata, this warriors boasts many skills. We should pay him a visit. My lord. Spawn legendary hero Khalid al-Muntazir, the Elamian leader, who was once at Silver Pinnacle before they got destroyed. Is their faction completely dead? I think their faction is completely dead. And what do we have here? Ah, yes, the Ferris Jur Palace Guards and Warlocks. I was excited to try these guys out because I believe these guys have ranged attacks, which is neat and very different from the types of armies that we've been using thus far. Unholy Frenzy Research, so the Ordo Profundum is now powered up with an additional ward save, and I guess we do the same potentially for the Blood Dragons, or we head down to Mighty Cities. I head down to Mighty Cities first, just so we don't have to look at all of these things. Or we could do this to get the Templar's Feast and get Psychic Siphoning. I mean, they're both fine. Both solid options. This one, however, costs 1500 Martial Valor, which we just don't really have. I mean, we have it, but we don't really want to spend it, is what I'm getting at. Anyway, Barak Var. Once again, it does have defenses, but it's primarily Gobbo defenses, and certainly not worth fighting compared to what we dealt with regards to Scarbrand. Not comparable, is what I'm getting at. Oh, wow. And poor unit of Drakenov Templars. Raise the place, and don't move that way. Back into encampment you go, and through towards Dakharaz. Also, yeah, you don't need to build anything. You certainly don't need horde growth at the very least, because we're not using it for anything anyway. Anyway, everybody else keep on moving. We have attrition here, and oh my. Well, Scarbrand, you've been doing well for yourself. You better not have destroyed the Black Pyramid. It should be full of massive amounts of enemies. Alright, let's move in camp stance, which will make us immune to the attrition. We might knock down a few of these territories. I'm impressed the Scarbrand's done so well, though. We'll see. We are very close to being able to approach it anyway. Zacharias, you are also very close to Skavenblight by the looks of it next turn, and Ikit Claw himself will be there to defend. And ooh, Poison Wind Mortars, that's going to be an issue. Oh, and I see Wurzag is nearby as well. That's interesting. With a wall and a full stack, is he destroying the Vampire Coast? Wait, the Vampire Coast has been destroyed. They're done. There's no vampiric corruption here. They got crushed between Scarbrand and Wurzag. Oh, this is interesting, man. The dynamics here have certainly very much changed. It's quite curious, but yeah, anyway. Poison Wind Mortars and Death Globes against Graveguard. It's gonna be iffy. I wonder if we can force them into a field battle, as I think we'd prefer that for this particular force, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. For now, Abarash, it's time to do a quest right before you head on through the gate, or the canal. There we go, I was about to say tunnel. Alright, let's move you guys away. And then let's do the quest and then head on through. Do we need to level you guys? Well, I guess you guys are new, so we can level you. Blade Shield for you. Guard Vet and Red Fury. This is all maxed out. We could get you training, but frankly... you know what, let's just get you training. Why not? Why not? Get them all training. You can have training as well. You've got your spell work maxed out. Let's get you 1 point in Mentor, and then max out Deadly Blade, Woundmaker, and one last point, I guess, in... let's say Devastating Charge, because your charge is surprisingly low. We could put you back on the Drakenhof Nightmare, which would raise the charge considerably, though. Should we desire to. Blade Shield, Empiric Leap, it's similar to Devastating Charge. Let's get 1 point in Cutlass, 1 point in Hornswoggle, and then keep moving through Cutlass, I guess. And that looks good. Alrighty, then you. You're bothering me. Obviously can't raise the Warrior Disciple of the Path, unfortunately, but I guess we'll just make you a Blood Dragon Neophyte. I always transfer him to another army or something, if needed. We have every type of unit of the Disciple of the Path, really, so it's all fine. Alright, Knights of Blood and Sand, new quest. The second last of the quests remaining in the game. Teleport. And let's see what they've got. Tomb Guard mixed with those Ferrous Azure Warlocks. 24 armor-piercing missile strength. They also have poison on their melee attack and stock. Oh, that's interesting. That's real interesting. And it looks like these guys have stock, very fast, armor-piercing melee. Yeah, similar poison melee attack, magical armor-piercing missiles. That's very different. Alright, I'm excited. Away we go. Oh, was this... I don't remember if this one is voiced or not. I guess we're about to find out.
The path beckons.
Alrighty. By the looks of it, unfortunately, this particular quest is broken. I mean, yes, it doesn't have the speech, but, well, I don't know if it's supposed to. The quest itself, rather, is broken, which we will get into after we get into a little bit of a fight here. That said, this is such a great map to have this quest on. Definitely one of the most atmospheric ones. The underground Temple City. I think this is one of, I want to say one of Gorok's quests. I don't remember which whose quest it is, but I remember doing this one before, and I think Beastman or somebody arriving as reinforcements and hitting you in the back here, which was quite fun. Maybe not Beastman, but somebody. Anyway, it's a very, very nice map. Actually, a lot of the Lizardman maps are just top tier. Lots of the Temple City maps are very good. I can see why for example, the last quest, the final battle for the Worthy Foes, was also in a Lizardman quest battle. Anyway, let's take a look at these unique units briefly. Ooh, you got a banner as well, my friend? Oh no, is that just your cape? No, it's just your cape. Yeah, cape goes flying. Yeah, so these are the Ferrous Azure Warlocks, as we can somewhat see them in the dark. I guess they're based on the Doomfire Warlocks. I'm very curious to see what their attacks are going to look like with that sort of thing. And yeah, there we go. We got more of these guys here. So they got their scimitars and they've got their presumably magical effects or punches or something. Then we got the Ferrous Azure Palace Guard here as well, who do have bows, which I'm particularly excited about. See how effective they and their magical arrows are. Actually, they look quite good in the dark like this with their eyes glowing. Lastly, we have Khalid al-Muntazir, who has a big old Kemrian war sphinx, and he himself is kind of hidden over there. Nah, he has a bow as well. Very nice. Was he casting a spell, perhaps? Not sure what exactly he was doing. But Abarash is coming for him anyway, and I guess he probably is firing so... he has a magical attack, range attack, right? Just a regular range attack. Non-magical. He has poison magical melee attack, though. Alright, now let's see. If anybody reaches him, I want to see what this looks like. I can't actually tell if he's firing. I don't think he is, though. Let's just speed this up a little bit as we move Abarash forward. Here comes Abarash. We're going to summon a unit of our Ghost Knights to try to lock those Ferris Jewel Warlocks in place, and Abarash will come down to fight Khalid al-Muntazir. Alright, well that's going to take a little bit of a time. Let's see, we're trying to chase after those Ferris Jewel Warlocks, though it looks like they don't want to fight us directly, but will try to escape, perhaps due to their fragility, or perhaps they have skirmish mode on them, due to having a range attack. Ooh, speaking of range attacks, we got those magical arrows coming in from the enemy Warlocks here. And probably the Ferris Jewel Palace Guard as well. There we go, definitely got to watch out for those. They will be trying to knock our elite flyers out of the sky as they come in. And as usual, as always, targeting the Bloodkin Aspirant, because every single range unit throughout the game always bloody well targets the poor Bloodkin Aspirant. Over here, the second enemy lord is distracting our Disciples of the Path Knights, which is probably a good move for him, as we were going to send those in to hunt the enemy down. And damn, that Manticore definitely towering over the enemy as well. And that lord will go down, probably a little bit or just as quickly as Khalid al-Muntazir, who is already beginning to crumble away, and a few hits, I'm sure, will make him fall. Always lovely to see the Khemrian War Sphinxes fight, though. And though not for too much longer, as the souls leave the construct and Khalid and his mount collapse. The rest of the battle is going reasonably well in our favor. First of the enemy Ferris Jewel Palace Guard getting ripped apart by our elite flyers, and we've managed to lock down at least one of the Warlock units here, though the other one is still able to fire. We'll move on to the next one once these guys fall. They have 52... Wait, let's see. First year Warlock. They have 36 melee defense, so their melee defense is actually quite low, though their attack is quite high. I guess functioning as a sort of high damage dealing unit. Glass cannon, perhaps? At the very least, glass cannon compared to our more tanky vampiric units. Our infantry has arrived as well. It looks like they are being blocked by Tomb Guard. A little bit of a preview, as we will be trying to go after Khemri and the Sentinels at the Black Pyramid of Nagash, so there will be plenty more of these guys to work through. Our champion of infantry down here, wading in with his dual axes. Once again, I'm loving the fact that we have a hero leading every type of our units in this army. It makes it pretty great. Though alas for the enemy, it won't be for too much longer, as the battle is pretty much ours. The Tomb Guards certainly stand no chance, and with the Ferris Jewel down, the Tomb Guards simply will not hold. And there we go. There's still a few enemy units on the field here. A couple more Tomb Guard. But they will melt away. Now here is the issue. With those units having melted away, and we can see that the enemy troop count is down to 0. What's this? Is this perhaps a flying unit or something riding away? Maybe it's a stalking unit that escaped and somehow got off the map and didn't allow anything else to continue. But anyway, clearly something was supposed to activate. Either enemies were supposed to spawn or something was supposed to happen. I've had this happen before in one quest battle, and unfortunately it looks like it happened again, so we won't be able to continue here. At this point, I just in case wanted to move everybody around the map, just in case there was a unit in stock, but obviously since the enemy troop count is at 0, there isn't actually one on the map. Oh well, we'll try this again, or maybe I'll try to get off screen. We shall see, but for now we're going to have to concede defeat and not actually acquire this library. Or, well, now we have the library. Acquire the unique units tied to this library. Alright, well, it looks like we lost, folks. 0 losses, 0 damage, but yeah, well, unfortunate about it. I'm going to, once again, try it on my own again, off-screen at some point, with the hopes of being able to reactivate. Hopefully this doesn't just destroy the quest completely. So, clearly, the reinforcements didn't spawn, so all these guys didn't come onto the field, and just nothing happened. Clearly, we can see that everybody here died, and there were no enemy troops remaining on the fields, just that the thing didn't activate. I really hope that we can actually try these guys out, but, well, it is still a work in progress, and we shall see. Okay, now I don't know about the timing of this episode, since, well, I mean, we kept the battle in. We'll see. Anyway, Abarush, you remain perfectly fine. Great and worthy act. Oh! We get the lose a battle and survive great and worthy acts completed from that. That's hilarious. And yeah, this thing is back up and running. I'll try it again between the episodes, but you guys will have already seen some of the battle. Although I guess, oh man, but if it works, then there will be more enemy troops on the field. I don't know. I'm not sure how to go about it. But it doesn't change the fact that we're going through the Uskalat Canal. Go. And guess it's going to take 2 turns to travel down the canal. And then we'll pop up down here. Maybe saved like 2 turns from doing that rather than march stance traveling. Only something. Anyway, let's see who else needs to move this turn. We can hopefully potentially find another battle somewhere around here. Heinrich, you are still waiting for additional recruitment, and frankly you're going to be waiting a while, as it's going to take a while. You two will be able to be upgraded to Ordo Profundum. I guess we need to figure out who's going where as well. For now, the army's sort of acting on its own, though I suppose with the Witch Hunter threat isn't even rising all that much. So it'll be a while before it gets here. They'll probably be pissed about Averheim. You know what? I just thought to resolve this. It's really not worth fighting. It's too weak. Auto-resolve it, raise it, and then... Okay, you can stop moving now, dude. And you're gonna have to move somewhere. Well, the question is where. We can move down to Steingart. Is there anybody here that's worth fighting? Karakern, not high enough level. Karakazor might be tier 5. No, it's not even close. We could try sending you to Athaloran. Might be a few worthy fights there. Although this particular army is going to be the worst against them in particular. Oh, I also wanted to send Tiberius Kale up to Norska, because it kind of makes sense with him being all Norscan looking. Certainly potential. Alright, start moving up this way then. We do still have this other army near to here. I'll think about it. Anyway, we've got other things to do for now. Reinhard van Hel. Hopefully the other quest will work, as in the one that we're waiting for, the Black Grail Knight one. You're going to Kislev. Let's see if Kislev is tier 5. And it is a tier 4. I mean, we could still raise a thing there, or we will check out Prague and stuff. There may be other ones. Oh, right, you have another Bloodkin Thrall Knight. But you're not really close to anybody. There is another thing we could do, though. We could build another... I mean, we have metal now that we're not really using. We could build another one of these structures here, and then have you raise more stuff, and then have you go through the Abyssal Riptide and help out. That could certainly be something. Alright. I think that'll work. Alright, you move sort of around here, but stick around, because that's where Abarash is headed. You are just going to keep scouting. Scout something. Keep practicing your scouting for future scout thing. Reynold von Drak, you don't have to do anything because we're waiting for the library here. And I think that's good for this turn, yes? Oh wait, no, it's not. Abyssal Revenant. Let's see if the Star Tower is a tier 5. And we don't really need to set up another thing here, but whatever. Let's see what we're looking at here. It is a tier... It's tier 4 being upgraded to tier 5 as we speak. Just destroy it then. It's not like we really need another big old tower out here anyway. It'll just be another location to protect and build up raise. And then go into encamp stance. Can you build up another version of your thing? No, it'll take a little bit of a while, but we can use that while to travel northward. Oh, you know what? I know how you could probably fix the issue with the Abyssal Revenant. Now, I think the way that the reason that this occurs is that it counts as if the Lord died, and that's why his Horde gets destroyed because normally you can't replace a Horde Lord. What you could do to fix the issue with the Abyssal Revenant losing his Horde is have a different special building, like we have the obsolete Shipwreck for the Abyssal Revenant. The Ascended version of the Abyssal Revenant could get a different thing that increases his growth, Horde growth massively by like 50 or 100 or something like that, which would quickly allow you to counteract this and rebuild all of this stuff. Yes, good, Ruinous, good. Problem solved. All right. Anything else we got to do this turn, or can we keep on going? Hey, every turn ended, we'll be closer to the other quest, and hopefully that one will potentially work. I believe we're okay. I'd spend the metal, but I guess it's not super important right now. Anyways, let's end the turn. All right, Imric. Should probably give us a good fight, depending. Or at least give Abrash a nice duel. Don't peace out. Ooh, I see Scrag the Slaughterer nearby. Maybe we can send an army to fight his army, depending on what he has. Ogre armies have a tendency to be not so great in the hands of the AI, as it has a tendency not to build elites. I think the last time I saw genuinely very threatening, frightening Ogre enemies was in my Boris Ursus campaign. The ogres were an absolute frickin' menace in that campaign. Probably the toughest opponents to deal with for a while, just because of the massive amounts of stone horns that they just kept on building and building. Now, generally speaking, after that, I've only encountered ogres just kind of being awful at everything, so... anyway, let's see. Construction complete, Thrall Bastion, and we'll need to upgrade you to... Did I build the wrong thing? No, I didn't. Okay, it's this one. They're all stables. Good. And everybody else keep on raiding. Walach, how close are we to the Black Pyramid? I see Kemre, which we could hit next turn should we desire to do so. And Cetric himself is right there. Ooh, wait. Let us stay there. Go into regular that'll... Damn. I'm hoping Cetra doesn't move out of here. Now, this would be a fight. Tier 5 with a maxed out garrison plus Cetra himself. If we... I'm gonna declare war on him. Don't call allies to help. I'm hoping that this will cause him to stay here. But he doesn't know Walach is there. How much attrition will we suffer if we stay here? Quite a bit. Alright, let's just hope he doesn't leave, or that our ambush gets foiled, or something. I'd rather preserve that fight. Now, Ikat Claw is nearby. And he's got a little, rat friend out here. Wait, get even closer, but don't attack him this turn. We should be able to force a fight outside the settlement. And, his stack is maxed out now. Zach, you're gonna have a tough time against this. He might even attack us himself. I guess we'll see. And I guess another problem will be that we won't be able to chase him because, yeah, that'll be a problem as well. Might even want to actually just straight up attack right now. What do we have here? We could get the exotic dead to power these guys up, and in fact that's probably the only decent option here. Alright, let's do that. You. Mikhail. I'm guessing you're gonna have Soul Stealer as well, or Wind of Death, or possibly both. They'll both be quite nice against the rats. And we do have a decent amount of mana. You know what? I think we're not going to wait. Go into regular stance. I think we're going to strike at Skavenblight itself. Pyrrhic victory, casualties high indeed, and we got Ikat. We've got those Poison Wind Mortars, which have to be targeted, and we don't have much in the way of an air force. And on top of that, the enemy has those Howling Warp Gales to keep us from obliterating those. Should be a fun time. Away we go.
Show me the blood.
Alrighty, here we go. The Graveguard have slowly marched around and have at last arrived all the way at Skavenblight. This is going to be a difficult assault, and we are going over the walls, and well, we'll see if we can contend with the enemy. Looks like the enemy does have pretty decent setup here. We've got 2 enemy Plague Claw catapults set up on the cliffside here, and we're definitely going to have to send one of our lords or heroes at them. Otherwise, they will continue bombarding our units, in particular the slow Graveguard. We're going to split up our Ghost Infantry and our Blood Dragon Neophyte Infantry, send 3 each here and in the main location, just to try to tie down as many of the enemies as possible. The battle will start off with Zacharias moving towards an enemy pile of poison wind mortars. It's hitting him a little bit. We got a dragon breath on them as well, and hopefully we can force them to rout before heading out towards Mr. Ikit Claw. Certainly don't want him repeatedly casting Warp Lightning and other spells upon us. And we're moving towards the walls. Mikhail can go over them, however, and we'll be popping those powers of darkness in order to heal, or not heal, I'll get a little bit more mana. Looks like the enemy has managed to keep the Blood Dragon, or one of the Blood Dragon Neophyte warriors here, outside of the settlement, but the rest are fortunately still climbing. Hopefully this isn't an aspect of the desync. I don't remember whether this actually happened, but I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. And man, these poor rats are just walking into a blender here. Splash attacks from those great swords knocking several away with every hit, and it's a bloody place to be if you're a clan rat. Alright, do have to be careful there, as we do have some of those death globes firing upon us. And a couple volleys from the death globes into our Graveguard or other units could be very, very ugly. And, oh, interesting. Alright, this is slightly different from what happened when I played it. I believe these guys actually lost about half their number when they originally climbed up those walls. And, Death Globes moved over here. I think when I played it, they moved over here instead, so we definitely have some desyncs going. Ikit Claw, however, has been shattered by the ministrations of Zacharias here, who is now going to face off against a Warlord and a Mutant Rat Ogre, all at the same time. I think they were attacking him while he was fighting Ikit as well, but for now he's looking relatively okay, and we can always heal him up. More important to get the rest of our units into the settlement, and they are certainly well on the way. And there we go, Storm Vermin facing off with their halberds against the great swords of those Blood Dragon Neophytes, and also great swords of the Phantoms of the First Keep warriors. And that's a lot of armor-piercing anti-infantry we got here. Ooh, definitely have to watch out for this, and this is why we had to target those poison wind mortars, lest they start attacking our infantry. Speaking of our infantry, we get more and more of them climbing the walls and going over. More enemy units trapped, and it looks like at least one of the units of Death Globes trapped, with some Graveguard as well. Some Graveguard are, getting knocked down by the rats. I assume that any unit that gets knocked over here gets instantly killed, because this is impassable terrain. Kind of an interesting location to fight. Actually, this map has some quirks to it because of this this whole thing. It's impassable terrain. It also makes this particular tower indestructible as well, which is kind of weird, but I guess it was necessary. Anyway, we have finally been able to knock out those Plague Claw catapults, or at least damage them and prevent them from further firing upon our Graveguard. Several of our Graveguard were actually a lot more hurt than they looked to be here when I played this, but I guess the desync is not always in the enemy's favor. Sometimes, rarely, it's in our favor as well. Again, some fantastic shots of the infantry facing off against enemy infantry, though. You gotta love these fights in this particular mod when the enemy doesn't just collapse instantly when faced off against your superior units. The rats are certainly giving us a fight here, and with the Council of 13 breathing down their necks, though I imagine the Council of 13 might have already evacuated Skavenblight at this point. And the rats are probably a lot more afraid of the council than they are of these guys. Alright, and how are we doing? Balance of power is now in our favor, though only by about maybe 5 to 10%. That mutant rat ogre still being fought by Zacharias, who remains in pretty darn solid shape, and is killing droves and droves of rats with his dragon as he continues to fight the enemy lords and heroes. Alright, moving our way deeper into the enemy settlement now. Our Phantoms of the First keep trying to give chase to the enemy weapons crews. And the neophytes together with the Graveguard, who are now very much moving into the settlement. At last. A little bit slow to the party, but they always are, and that's okay. Now we got a brood horror riding warlord here who apparently ran away rather than continue fighting Zacharias. That's all right though. We can always send Mikhail after him, who's flying over to this side now that the enemy artillery have been taken care of, so that we don't have to worry about them. Another invocated oath comes down, and our units continue to hold and continue getting those heals and continue to fill the enemy settlement and start making their way up the hill. The Black Knights have arrived as well. They've been sitting outside of the enemy settlement waiting for that gate to come down, or actually in this particular case for the gate to be captured by our forces to let them in. They were doing that let me in meme the whole time. They're white, so they still have their memories. That's the only thing they remember. Anyway, that damn mutant rat ogre's still whacking away at Zacharias, who is at least somewhat ignoring him in favor of going after the weapons teams, as we have tons of Graveguard in here now, and we can't afford to allow the Poison Wind mortars to destroy them. It looks like the enemy rats around the breach, at least, have been by and large cleared out, I should say, around both breaches. And we do have to move further into the enemy settlement. Looks like another brood horror and a pile of storm vermin are surrounding these units of phantoms, but these are the summoned phantoms. Huh. They have veterancy. I guess they got veterancy while killing things throughout the course of the battle, because our real phantoms are here. These are the unsummoned ones, as we can see by their rank 9 veterancy. Alright, and hey, Black Knights have moved over here. I don't recall this happening at all, but otherwise the battle is going reasonably close to what happened. It just looks a little bit easier on our side than it was when it actually happened, funnily enough. I think this is the first time that that the desync was in our favor, rather than the enemy's favor, which feels weird. And I think these forces didn't get distracted up here when I played it. They were all still fighting up here, hence our units still being all around here. I think with that, the battle is just about done. I'm sure a couple more hits into the enemy will actually end the battle, and just waiting for the desync battle end, because we can see that most of our troops are no longer moving, which means that most of the enemy are either shattered or running by the time that in the time that I was playing this. Alright, bringing down a few more of those rats. Zacharias be an absolute hero in this particular battle. Nearly 200 kills and 28k damage, and completely unsupported as well. And it's not like he's one of our legendary lords, after all. Anyway, with that, I do believe the enemy army will shatter, and the battle will be ours. A slight desync, perhaps, but it still gave us an absolutely fantastic battle at Skavenblight. And once again, I was really happy about all that infantry brawling that we managed to do /see. Alright, very nice. A solid defense of Skavenblight from Mickett. Hopefully the desync didn't screw over the battle too much, but it was a very nice fight. 474 kills on these Phantom Warriors, and 329. Granted, it's against Skaven, so the numbers are inflated, but that's still pretty damn good. We got plenty of losses ourselves, and we were able to heal them back up as well, which was also nice. Alright, we are going to capture the place. It is tier 5 after all, and it is Skavenblight, and we'll make it into a Draconis Bloodkeep. Nice little base for Zacharias to sit around in. And that didn't appear to do anything to the Witch Hunter threat, but, well, you know, Skaven don't exist, so why would it? Plus, why would they care that we destroy it? If anything, they should be grateful. We are going to here immediately build the Force Gathering. Yes. And then the question is, what do we do after? I believe everybody else, let's see. Well, we want to once again accelerate towards our main locations. Ah, Cetra is here. Oh, that was this turn, damn. I got confused as to which turn we're still on. Alright, gotta accelerate towards the final battles for each of the lords. I think maybe for Cetra we'll make sure to spend enough valor to max out the army as we desire. You... should we actually take out Steingart, or do we just move through Talabayam? This completely screws Gelt over, to be perfectly honest, if he loses this one last main location. Maybe we'll leave Talabayam alone and just sort of move up this way. Just to leave them alive. I do want to try out those Doomwolf Knights, though. Although I suppose this is not a bad position to be in, either. As in, we do have more Witch Hunters spawning relatively soon. Anarch, you, sir, are... It's kind of, wow, it's difficult to move through Barrack Var, apparently. And you still need heals a little bit. Alright, fine, start moving through. You'll either head to Dog Karaz or possibly even ignore it as we head up this way. If these guys want to try taking a crack at assaulting Karaz-a-Karak, they are more than welcome to do so. Should probably upgrade all those, but I can also do that between the episodes. Heinrich, a bit more recruitment for you to do. I can take more of these Thrall Knights. And, wait, you're actually maxed out. Once again, this is supposed to be 2 armies. So the question is, do we separate them now? You know what, I'll think about it. Either way, I think we have to sit here for another turn or two for Heinrich's army in particular. But everybody else can at least move. You, sir, continue moving onward to Kislev. And it looks like they do have defenses. Fair amount of units in there. I would like to take a look at Prague to see if it is a tier 5, though. And before we decide what to do with Kislev, we should probably raise a Bloodkeep somewhere here, but I haven't decided where. There is also the Tower of Crack for this purpose. Not Krakadrak, because it's probably too low level, though. Shame about that. Rudolph, Barakmir, you guys are going to start recruiting in a little bit. You'll have those spawn. I'm almost tempted to start recruiting right now. Stoic Violence, Eternal Discipline, Immortal Disdain, Eternal Discipline, Stoic Violence, and Tempered Fury. I guess Stoic Violence is okay. Alright, I'm gonna raise you and have you start recruiting. Why not these guys? Just so that, well, they can keep on raiding to keep giving us metal. And it'll be you, sir. Hopefully this doesn't mean all of the enemy armies will spawn around these guys. I don't actually know what exactly triggers the spawning. Abyssal Revenant, you are good now. You've got places to be. 1 second. You are missing what in your army? No, your army's complete. It's completely complete. We have everything in there. Alright, so now that your army's complete and has every type of unit that it wants, we just have to get you a good fight. So let's grab this mysterious island. And Mushroom Stew, I guess? Ah, yes, Mathland's Blessing. That's what we need. 25% more. But hey, we have the Trident of Mathland or Manan. Depending on where we look, we might as well have his blessing as well. To the Maelstrom. It'll take a few turns to travel there, but since most of our armies are standing still right now, that should actually be reasonably quick in terms of how we go about it. What else do we have? Waldemar Rotep. Can we end the turn? Oh, Maximilian Jaeger, you're still recruiting, right. I'll keep on recruiting. Frankly, I don't think we need this anymore, but who knows. We might need this little army of piles and piles of Graveguard for some purpose. To defend something. Reynold, are you ready to raid? No, you can. Well, I guess we could move you out here to raid, but then there's a decent likelihood that you get attacked by the, not the rats, but rather the beastmen. 2 more turns until you're ready to level. Alright, that's not so bad. We're nearly there. To the Black Grail Library quest. Abyssal Zubissendorf, Wilmar against Jade Daimyo. Move everybody else along. And we'll end the turn. And hey, Grimgor's back. Alright, that'll be something for this army to do. Beautiful.
I will alone.
Alki, keep an eye on Grimgor. Ooh, Aberrash is going to appear right here. Maybe we can grab Grimgor just as we move on to the field. Oh, that would be absolutely fantastic if we can manage to make it happen. This is another worthy foe encounter, but they don't work anymore, so we can just ignore that one. Hey, there's Astrogoth again. After all that chasing of him that we did. Anyway, I think with that, I am going to call the episode here. There's a little bit more admin to do in the way of building buildings, although maybe ending the turn would allow me to do the admin for the next turn as well. Alright, fine. Let's spend a little bit of metal on defensive structures. And just so that we don't have to, once again, be too concerned about these locations. Could be most of our metal, but we're not really using it for too many things right now. Oh, Drakenhalf had a Thrall Stables as well, eh? And did I never build? Oh, I never built the Forest Gathering here. It's because it has a library, but now we're doing that even where there are libraries. And just for safety's sake, troops. And troops, we probably won't bother upgrading it to the next level. I just want the level 2 at least. Caged Bats versus Corpse Ball. Yes, and we just don't have enough. Oh, we can't build a Carcassonne or Skavenblight, so actually that worked out perfectly. Alright, let's end the turn. And just to see, Commandment of it. Oh, I didn't even know we had commandments. Evocation of Nagash. Harvest corpses, income from all buildings. We don't have income. Foster Terra, growth. Oh, wow. Construction cost reduction, but growth. Control is useless. Yeah, so this is the... I can't believe there's a growth one. The recruitment one and the growth one would both be quite helpful for certain locations, so I guess that in order to make use of this, we would have needed to occupy locations like Skavenblight forested areas. Huh. Funnily enough, would be great then to set up a bunch of Bloodkeeps in all of Athalor and just everything Bloodkeep here. And have them all grow quickly and defend each other. But then, of course, then we wouldn't have the libraries. Anyway, let's end the turn real quick, and then we'll head to the next turn. I'll do the admin between the episodes, and then hopefully next episode we'll get the other quest. I'll also probably check out the broken quest between the episodes to see if I can get it done. But if I can't, well, won't be able to do too much about it. Be something that that gets, if it is broken in general and not only for me, it could get fixed with the next update. And on top, it's Skaven now. And on top of that, maybe I can make a bonus episode after the campaign is over once that quest is complete, just so that we can view it. Anyway, diplomatic relations +20 with Britonia. Journey complete for Aberrash, yes. And how close is Grimgor? Grimgor? Where'd you... Grimgor? I see Draj. Where the heck? Where'd he go? Don't tell me he got defeated by Draj. He was around here somewhere, but now I'm... Well, J Daimyo, keep moving. This is clearly not Grimgor. Alright, I guess we're moving now to fight Draj then. I mean, we were gonna pass this. Ooh, and there's Stretch Craventail. Ah, yes, Aberrash. You will have things to kill, things to do, and things to kill. Maybe land at the Demon Stump and raise it? Can you land at the Demon Stump? You can land. You won't be able to go there immediately. And then that'll take your movement away, unfortunately. Not sure that's worth our time. Might be better to move like this instead and land here. Alright, that's what we will do. And we'll want to keep an eye on Dresh here. He'll probably move towards one of these armies. I think what we should do is preemptively declare war on him, don't call allies. In the hopes that they possibly try to attack Aberrash. Anyway, we're out of time. I'm calling it here. Next time we continue onward towards the various final battles as we're currently doing, and hopefully, and definitely an assault on Khemri with Walach and his forces, and we're probably going to spend the Martial Valor to get the final units that we're missing, which is the Inner Circle for the Blood Dragons, and upgrade all these. And then we'll probably leave the Black Pyramid for another episode, but definitely Khemri. Should be a fun time, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.